Good evening. We do have more details of the suspect believed to have killed conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Authorities are searching for the man who killed Kirk at Utah Valley University yesterday. Right now we go live to NTD's Jack Bradley, who's on the ground in Utah at the site of the shooting. Jack, what are the latest details that we know so far about the suspect?
Well, authorities right now, Steve, say that they have multiple leads, but no suspect currently in custody. Behind me is the site where Charlie Kirk was shot while speaking at an event in front of hundreds at Union Valley University. We're just about 40 miles south of Salt Lake City. You can see here that there's many different areas where they've blocked off to the public, but still it's left as it was when the entire area was evacuated after the shot was fired and people ran to safety in these buildings up above the site, seeking shelter in order not to be shot. And law enforcement analyzing any evidence and links back to the killer. The campus closed until Monday. Since the shooting, classes have been canceled throughout the week. The shooter was wearing dark clothing, and from a campus building about 200 yards from here, he was evacuated the site, tossing a weapon, a rifle, into the wilderness and then running into a nearby neighborhood, evacuating. And FBI and other authorities are currently asking for information, giving out a $100,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of the killer, just showing how important this is. And we also had J.D. Vance and the First Lady attending the pall bearing, taking the casket of Charlie Kirk, of his body, from Salt Lake City onto Air Force 2 over to Arizona, where he resided with his family, his wife and 2 kids, in Phoenix, Arizona. And also we have the FBI Director Kash Patel in Utah with further support for the agencies here. Steve.
So, Jack, what are you hearing on the ground there from the folks who experienced this horrific event?
Well, I spoke to a witness here at the event. She's only 17. It was her first political event she's ever been to. She went with a group of friends, some of them 14, 15, witnessing the horrors unfold. And when she arrived, there was a large counter-protest, yelling profane slogans, even started shouting, "Murder Charlie Kirk." That's what she said. And then the supporters tried to shut them down by yelling, "Love Charlie Kirk." This was all before Charlie started speaking and went up on stage. And she wonders how those counter-protesters must feel after this incident. Take a look.
We decided to take a picture to show our moms where we were, and we took this selfie, and then a second later we heard this gunshot, and my immediate thought was, he's going to start shooting into the crowd, like the shooter's going to start shooting us. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this had actually happened, and I was still in shock. This is only something that happens in movies or books that you read about. But I just couldn't believe he was actually gone and that he had been killed in Utah, of all places. Because I'm only 17, and many of my friends were 14 and 15 who were attending the event with me. It's important for me to speak up because that's what people like Charlie Kirk stood for. And I really want to be able to further his legacy. Since they took away a voice from this world, I want to be able to speak up. And many of my friends were afraid that if they spoke up, they would become like Charlie Kirk and they would be killed too after the event happened. But I believe that it's important to stand up against the people like that and to make this world a better place.
A very brave young lady there, and as authorities are scouring for this manhunt that's now in its second day, one just has to wonder the motive behind this, if it was, as the governor of Utah said, politically motivated. So we'll keep you updated from here in Orem, Utah. Steve.
NTD's Jack Bradley live there in Utah. Thank you, Jack. President Trump says investigators are making big progress on finding Charlie Kirk's killer. He also urges the nation to stay brave and strong on the anniversary of 9/11, an event that unites Americans across parties. Joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent, Iris Tao. Good evening, Iris. What's the latest from the president this evening?
Good evening to you as well, Steve. As a massive manhunt continues, President Trump told us before leaving the White House tonight that investigators have made, quote, big progress on finding the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk just yesterday. He also told us that he himself has an indication on what the motivation was behind the killing, but for now wouldn't tell us until later. Here's what he told us. Watch.
He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth.
Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance, who is a longtime friend with Kirk, is in today basically with the family in Utah, with Charlie Kirk's family, to both visit him and also to help carry Charlie Kirk's body home all the way on Air Force Two to Arizona. We have footage now showing that Vice President J.D. Vance was actually helping to carry Charlie Kirk's casket himself at the airport. And meanwhile, President Trump today also talked to Charlie Kirk's family, after which he told us that his wife and the mother of Charlie Kirk's two children is absolutely devastated. President Trump says he will be attending Kirk's funeral likely next weekend in Arizona. And also today, President Trump also answered questions about concerns about his own safety, as we all know that concerns are increasing now as Kirk, such a prominent speaker, has been assassinated. And President Trump says that he's not too worried about himself, more worried about the country. This morning at a memorial service at the Pentagon for 9/11, he honored Charlie Kirk while also announcing that he will be giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Watch.
We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on.
We know that you have heard the Lord's words. Well done, good and faithful servant. Like those on 9/11, he will never be forgotten.
And last night in a video, President Trump citing the assassination attempts against himself as well as shootings targeting lawmakers here in D.C., it says that his administration will crack down on political violence and the organizations that he says are supporting it. And he also says that as leaders on both sides of the aisle condemn this killing of Charlie Kirk, today he told us he wants his supporters to respond non-violently, an approach that he says Charlie Kirk was taking before his death. Back to you, Steve.
So, Iris, obviously a very difficult day being 9/11, where the president and his cabinet and the administration having to mourn the loss of a close friend, but also the loss the nation faced back on September 11th, 2001. Talk to us about what the president said at his speech earlier today and what he is doing tonight to honor 9/11.
Sure. So this morning, the president with the First Lady as well as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth were all at the Pentagon honoring the victims as well as the heroes of 9/11. President Trump urging the country to stay strong and brave amid challenges. Watch.
In America, we take blows, but we never buckle. We bleed, but we do not bow. And we defy the fear, endure the flames, and emerge from the crucible of every hardship stronger, prouder, and greater than ever before.
And just this month, Steve, President Trump renamed the Department of Defense to now the Department of War. And today he sends this message to anyone, he says, who's thinking about hurting the United States. Watch.
If you attack the United States of America, we will hunt you down and we will find you. We'll go all over this sometimes magnificent earth. That's why we named the former Department of Defense the Department of War.
And tonight, President Trump is in New York attending a Yankees game where pregame ceremonies will honor the victims and heroes of 9/11. Security measures are heavily ramped up at the game, including, for example, we've seen bulletproof glass installed in the suite where President Trump is likely to sit, as well as metal detectors and law enforcement officers stationed at every single entrance. Steve.
You can see on the screen there the president greeting the Yankees players there in his home city of New York. NTD's White House correspondent Iris Tao, thanks so much. And Republican and Democratic senators joining in condemnation of political violence and urging young Americans to not be deterred to join in on political life. Our Washington correspondent Luis Martinez brings us reaction.
I wanted to get your reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination and whether it should be considered a risk to be political in America.
But there's a sickness in our country, and it manifests itself all too often. People who want to silence Charlie, they've actually enhanced his message. And so the only way these evil people can win is for us to run and be quiet, and we're not going to do that.
What's your message to young people who want to get into politics in this political environment?
You can do a lot of good.
What happened to Charlie Kirk should never happen in the United States of America. We can have our political disagreements without political violence.
Is being political in America something that should be considered dangerous?
Well, it shouldn't be, and that's the whole point, that regardless of our political views, they should never cross over into political violence.
There is far too much political violence these days, and I think everyone needs to learn to treat each other with dignity and respect.
Senator, is America a place where being in politics should be dangerous?
No, and sadly we've seen the assassination of Charlie Kirk followed the same pattern as the attempted assassination of President Trump.
What happened yesterday was un-American, and we should never see anything like that. My wife was shot in 2011, and just thinking what his family is going through right now, it is a horrendous, horrific thing. I disagreed with Charlie Kirk on a lot of things. One place I wholeheartedly agree with him is his right to be there at that university, speaking to people about the issues that he cares about. And that's, that kind of engagement strengthens, I think in the long term, strengthens our democracy.
We have no choice but to get involved in politics. I didn't jump into politics because I wanted, I was a glutton for punishment. If we don't jump in and get involved in politics, we lose our country. I mean, Benjamin Franklin said it best. We've got a republic if you can keep it.
The things that we believe in and share together are a lot more powerful than the things that divide us, and we need to embrace those now. One of them is our belief in free and open debate, and we love that as Americans. We thrive on that. We invented the First Amendment, so we need to embrace that, I think. But I hope that the opposite will happen, that a lot of young people will say, no, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again.